What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Rachel and I'm happy to have you here. So a little bit of a transparency moment. I honestly wasn't even about to do this video. I had fully convinced myself that I was just gonna skip a week and it was gonna be fine. But when I really thought more about it, it was a little bit deeper than just, okay, I'm just gonna skip a week. But basically, long story short, like this week has been a good week, but it's also been very busy. There's been a lot in it. And so I had just fully convinced myself that I didn't really have the time to piece together a video. I didn't have the time to edit. I didn't have the time to post anything. And I also kind of felt like I just didn't really have clarity on the topic once again. I didn't really think that there was much for me to say. I had a lot of excuses as to why I wasn't going to film the video. I was just going to let this week come and go and no video was going to be created. Since I started this channel back in March, I've only missed one Saturday. I was dealing with the loss of my grandma, but for the most part I've been very consistent and I post every Saturday and I've really been trying to keep up with that. But then for some reason this week rolled around and I was just like, you know what, I think it'll be okay if I skip a week. I don't really have the time for it. It's cool, maybe I just need a break. And then also on the point where I don't really feel like I have the clarity on the direction that I'm going, I'm in my head all the time second guessing what the video idea should be, what it's supposed to be about, whatever have you. I'm stressing out about the topic again and I told myself I'm not trying to do that, so I'm just not going to post the video and then there goes the stress. I'll be fine. I won't have to stress about it. Moving on. But I realized that the ultimate issue that was a little bit deeper than that is that the limiting beliefs came back. I talked about this on my channel before about how sometimes I feel like nobody cares. And so I'll tell myself that nobody cares. Nobody's going to notice that you're not posting a video. It'll be fine. Just don't post the video. Nobody's checking for your stuff anyway. And that's what I was telling myself over and over. And when I thought about that in my head, like, okay, I'm not gonna post the video. Maybe I'll post it during the week if I record one, or maybe I'll just wait until next Saturday. I felt like the stress of all of that had been lifted. I felt a little bit more free and it was just like, okay, cool. But then as the dust was settling, I really thought about it and it's like, I'm gonna feel a type of way if I don't do it. Because while people might not notice or people might not care, quote unquote, I will notice and I care. And at the same time, God cares and he'll notice. So while yes, I did come up with these excuses about not having clarity or not having time, that was simply what they were. They were excuses. The underlying issue was the limiting beliefs that crept back up and said, nobody's gonna notice that you're gone and nobody's gonna miss it. Nobody cares about your videos. Nobody cares what you have to say. I had fully convinced myself of that, but then that was also very unsettling for me the more that I thought about it. So here we are, day of, just filming a quick video, getting my thoughts out there. I'm gonna have to edit it and post it within a couple of hours because it's a lot going on today, but that's okay because I started this channel with the intent that I was gonna keep up with it, and I have to continue to remind myself the whole reason that I did this channel in the first place is because God gave me the assignment to do so. I don't always understand it. I don't always know why I'm doing this. I get frustrated feeling like, Lord, ain't no way I'm the one supposed to be doing this, because I feel like every single week I'm facing the same hurdles and I'm just not getting over them. But I have to get back to that place that God told me to do this, and so I just have to trust that whatever it is that I need, he'll provide it. I did take the time where I had convinced myself that I wasn't going to do the video, and I did need that time, honestly. But I knew that the underlying reason that I wasn't doing the video was because of the limiting beliefs, not because of the excuses that I came up with. That was very surface level. And I'm not going to allow myself to fall back into old thought patterns, into old habits of just giving up because I let the limiting belief win. And I just needed the time to recharge. And honestly, it had to get to a point for me this week where I was just like, you know what? I'm not going to do it at all. Nobody's going to care. Cool. And I had to get to that point, honestly, where I was just like, you know what? Forget it. I'm not going to do the video at all. I just had to let go of the expectations. I had to take my hands off of it completely and even just get to a point where I said, I'm not gonna do it. But then that moment right there is when it turned around and God gave me a little something to say, and also reminded me of the reason that I'm doing this, reminded me that I might not always understand it, but it's bigger than me. I have the desire to show up, I have the desire to be consistent, and I have the desire to change the thoughts that I have, the limiting beliefs that tell me nobody cares. I have to throw that out. And to me, it might not seem like this video is a whole lot because of how, you know, I wasn't even really planning on doing it, and now all of a sudden I have thoughts that I just want to put out there. It might just be a little bit to offer, but honestly, like, this is still me showing up regardless of having those limiting beliefs that said, don't worry about it. Like, you don't have to show up. Ain't nobody checking for it anyway. Like, getting rid of those thoughts and saying, okay, you know what? I didn't plan to do this video, but I'm gonna do it anyway. And I talked in my last video about having discipline over motivation. That's what I feel like for me this looks like today, because I didn't have the motivation to do the video. But if I practice what I preach and I say that I'm going to have discipline instead, then I will still show up, I will still do the video, because let's be honest, I had the time to do the video. I'm making time right now, even though it's first thing in the morning, the earliest that I've ever recorded a video before. You make time for what you want to make time for. The time was not really the issue. I had the time. I can make the time. And it also wasn't the lack of clarity. I have a list of things that I could talk about. I don't always feel confident to talk about those things, but I do have a list of ideas that I've been kind of keeping up with. So even that is not necessarily a full valid excuse. The ultimate reason that I didn't want to do it was because of the limiting beliefs, and I'm just not going to let those have the final say. So that's what this is. This is just me showing up anyway and not allowing myself to fall back into old habits of just giving up, throwing in a towel and saying, you know what, it's fine if I skip a week, because that 1 week will turn into 2 weeks, and that 2 weeks will turn into a month. Okay, and I just don't want to fall back into that, because this means a lot to me. This assignment means a lot to me. I don't always understand it, but it does mean a lot to me, and so I want to show up regardless whenever I can. All right, y'all, so that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.